Hello everyone, this is Cheryl Fletcher-Kuhn, and I'm here at Kenosha Public Museum. Transparent Watercolor Society of America is honored to be partnered with Kenosha Public Museum. Together for over 12 years now, we have been able to present our annual juried exhibition. This year, because of the COVID virus, we were so lucky and so fortunate to be able to still exhibit for a month, the month of July. And I want to thank Kenosha Public Museum for working with us on this. Our jurors this year are Herman Pegel, and he's from Australia, and we were thrilled to have him come and be an instructor for us. Unfortunately, that was unable to come to fruition, and hopefully someday in the future we may be able to have him back. Our lead juror, Mrs. Kathleen Conover, she has come and she has selected the awards. She's hung tough with us, and we are very pleased to have her with us. Because we were only able to exhibit for a month, which limited the amount of time people could come and enjoy the exhibition in person, Kathleen has honored us by coming, and she is going to do a gallery walk for us today. For now, I want to turn it over to Kathleen. Thank you.
I want to give a big thanks to Cheryl Fletcher-Kuhn and all of the administrators in TWSA. They have been incredible. And a thank you to the Kenosha Public Museum. Thank you very much for your flexibility during these times. And it's unusual for us to be able to have this wonderful show. I did not want this piece, which is Cheryl Fletcher-Kuhn's painting, to not get highlighted as we go around the exhibit, because if I were able to have given it an award, it would have gotten an award. I love abstracts, and this is a beautiful one. Because she's an administrator, they will not allow the administration to receive awards. So just want to give it a little nod. This is Catherine O'Neill's painting. She's named it House Lights Up, and it's one of the awards that I gave. It's just a very dramatic piece, lovely, handled beautifully. I chose to give the Norris Stevens Founders Award to Sandra Swanson Fries. And this is called Soaring Acoustics, and I think the abstraction in this is fantastic. It is so precise and so engineered, and yet looks so free-form in the general, larger abstract forms. This is the TWSA Members Award to Chow Chang Zhang, and it's an incredible piece to start with. Look at the size of this. It's wonderfully big. When you come up to this piece, you really get into it. Compositionally, and you'll hear me talk about composition a lot in these pieces, compositionally, this is really a fun one to analyze. The whites are very prominent in the piece and very vertical, but I would call it a diagonal composition. Look at the diagonals in here. Boom, boom, over and over the diagonals, and then the other ones that hit this way. Where was that other one I saw? The hair, the whole back. And then there are little, very subtle ones, like you have all of this energy coming down, coming down, coming down. Look at this tiny little curve. It's amazing what a small thing can do sometimes in our pieces to really make a big difference in the composition. This curve is a force, it's an energy that pushes you back up. And it also is a secondary element that is repeated. Curves of the head, curves of the bass, curve of the instrument, curves of the lights. So a dominance of verticals and diagonals and a secondary of the curves. It's a fantastic painting, and this was, it's called Celebration, and it is one of the top 5 award winners. It's not hard to see why Kathy Simon McDonald got one of the high awards. It is a lovely painting. She's been working with the chalk artist as a theme a bit, so I've seen a few other of her works and they are exquisite. Besides an unusual subject, a charming subject, something that we can all identify with. Again, compositionally, I enjoy the intricacies of it. So it's basically curves, almost an organic piece, I'd say, because what she's chosen to picture on the pavement is human forms. It's a human form. There are all these curves, but there are a few contrasting elements that make such a difference in the piece. Look at this strong straight line. Look at the stop motion up here. You could have a lot of energy come up and you might go off. I doubt it. I think you'd come back around and come back around and come back around. But I love these little secondary elements, straight, straight, echoed by the little straights of the chalk. Tinted window, and it's wonderful. Again, the composition is unusual. The subject matter is unusual. This very high vantage point, but the composition is so, in a way, simple, and yet the complexity of the subject is quite amazing. She has these strong diagonals. It's almost like a little framework that keeps you right in the piece. This figure is so dominant, in a way it becomes the center of interest in an unusual area and brings you right back up into all of this intricacy that she has done so masterfully. The Morris Watercolor Guild Award of Merit goes to John Salmonen. And again, look at the size of this piece. You can't help but feel like you are part of these paintings when they are done large. We're familiar with John's work, a master artist for sure. Simple composition, complex handling of the subject. All the detail and the texture is amazing. His accuracy of figures is beautiful. This shaft of light comes down here and brings you right into these figures. And interesting placement of this sign, very important compositionally. Like Soon Warren's, whose center of attention was down here, this is very interesting and unusual to have center of interest so far in the bottom right of the piece. Actually, I'd probably have to say that this was center of interest, but it certainly is bringing you down masterfully, heightens the darkness of tree limbs to bring you right down into all of this interesting area. TWSA Master Award, Skyledge Award, Best of Show, it goes to Ken Call. It's a wonderful piece and it's exciting to look at on all dimensions. When we judge, certainly you've heard me talk about composition, we also want content. We want color, we want it all. And we want that emotional content. This is an emotional content piece, and yet compositionally, it is just flawless. At first, it looked to me like, oh, simple horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. We've got bands, we've got the figure horizontal, we've got another band. But as you look at it a little closer, the subtleties of the composition are masterful. There's a strong diagonal right in the middle of this piece that is bringing you all around the figure, bringing you up. He doesn't let you go out of the composition though. He stops you with this wall. You come back around, the hair, the figure, come back down. He gets you traveling throughout this whole piece. The graffiti on the wall, the texture on the wall, the transparency of the treatment of the fabric. It's every part of this is so masterfully done. It is a well-deserved Skyledge Award Best of Show to Ken Call. This is one of my favorite pieces. Edgar A. Whitney Memorial Award goes to Thomas Bucci. I hope I pronounced that correct. Wet on Arrival. It is small. It's what, I think about 10 by 14. This is one of our top award winners. It is wonderful. The abstraction of the whole piece, the soft nature of the painting, it really is the best of what watercolor can do. Soft-edged, hard-edged, you've got some fine line. The composition, again, is probably what put it into the top for me. It's an unusual composition. We have this strong arrow coming right into the center of interest. Look at all this blue up here. There's not a whole lot of blue repeated in this piece. Along with the colors, and all of this activity is over here, and it's balanced out by a little bit of a red cone here, a small red cone, this small amount of dark, and it's just enough to balance. It's almost like a teeter-totter kind of balance that you've got the large shape and then you've got the large kid and you've got the small kid and how it balances. I just love this piece. So congratulations, Thomas Bucci. This is another masterful piece by Chen Qi. He is certainly one of our master artists of our generation. In China, he would be called a national treasure, and he certainly is a national treasure of ours in the United States. Wonderful teacher, thank goodness. Many of us have been able to take his classes. This is the Phil Austin Founders Award. Very soft piece. This is a color piece, another one of those dimensions that we need in award-winning paintings, a color piece. We have our strong, interesting dance of lights that come across the piece, no doubt about it. We've got our darks, but his handling of color is so masterful here. Look at the contrasting bright green against the red, bright green against the red. Up here again, the green against the red. We have this soft yellow area against a gray purple. He's working the complements like a master all the way through this piece. And I just enjoy looking at this. And this shows beautifully online also. You all get to go online and look at this whole show and really study some of these pieces and look at their compositions. This piece by Cindy Evans, and this is The Storm. If I'd had one more award, it would have been probably this one. Content, concept, very important in our artwork. It's another dimension, it's a deeper dimension in our paintings, and this is one that is called The Storm, and you know this is about something. She has a lot of elements in there that are very symbolic, get the viewer thinking. Sure makes me look at this and wonder what storms is she going through that creates this piece. This is another concept piece, wonderfully done compositionally. It's centered, or icon, we'd call it, but a really interesting concept. In the writing in here, it says, in this short life that only lasts an hour, how little is within our power. This is the Kenneth Hetzel Memorial Award, and it goes to Irina Roman, and it's called Sisters. So that to me gives the whole story to the piece, to know that these are sisters, and her writing in here, very interesting. Good concept piece. Donald P. Whitty Memorial Award goes to Ted Nuttall for Ellie. And he is a master artist for TWSA. Beautiful portraiture, very softly done, and a very soft mood that goes along with the pieces. Gorgeous color, very skillful application of paint, just beautiful pieces. This is Reflecting on Riverside, and I'll tell you, it makes me smile every time I look at it. I referred in my head to it as the floating chairs. What a whimsical, fun piece. Earn a Kindler Memorial Award, and it's going to R. Mike Nichols. And I just think it's a wonderful, whimsical piece. Illustrative, but we need more of it. Thank you, Mike. This is Schooner at Dawn. I love this abstract piece. It's definitely still, the imagery is there of ships and harbor, but very abstracted and a gorgeous example of shape and line. Two of our major elements that we work with in painting, shape and line, and I don't think I've seen a more beautiful example of those two contrasting elements and how they've been handled in this piece. It's a Zoltan Zabel Founders Award, then it goes to Anne Green. It's a wonderful piece. Another lovely memorial. This is Frank Nash Memorial Award, and it goes to Christine Mesnick-Bunn, and it's called Runner in Black. Her handling of motion, I thought, was superb in this piece. It's something that we don't often do in our watercolor paintings, and it's not easy to do. She's done a superb job. And even the figures that are in focus and up close, there's still that softness to them that make them feel like they are in motion. Here is one of our top award winners, the TWSA Directors Award. It goes to Linda Daly Baker, and it is called All Aboard. Compositionally, she is a master at composition, and as I analyze this piece, I really enjoyed the fact that all of this darkness around here is almost like a frame, and having something this risky up in the corner that points, it's an arrow and it can point us right out of the picture plane, but it's moved in far enough, and she has such strength in this area that it doesn't seem to be a problem at all. It just seems to border around, you move around and into the figures, and that little bit of white is just beautiful. And her color handling is masterful. She does a lot of pores in her paintings, I know, but she has the ability to finish them in such a way that we're not so aware of them being mechanically done. It's much more like they've actually just been painted with a paintbrush. They're beautiful. What a fun piece. Its title is A Magical Moment, and I think that's exactly what this painting is. It shows the magic of the moment. It's so cleverly placed, this very bright orange figure against all of these very neutrals, cool darks, and the little bit of fleeting color in the reflections off these bubbles. It makes me as an artist want to try that. How did she remove that paint so beautifully? How did she get those bubbles to look so real? Beautiful piece. It's a TWSA Award of Merit, and it goes to Susan Stuller. This is a lovely portrait. It's called Steve Reminiscing, and it has that emotional content again. You look at that and you know he's reminiscing. Beautifully done. Unusual, beautiful color handling. Goes to Tuva Stevens, and the award is the Irving Shapiro Founders Award. The color distribution, look how she has this lovely purples and blues in here, and just a little bit of the repeat of those purples in the beard. Lovely portrait. This is Stephen Zhang's painting of Pow Wow. It's the Chevillion Memorial Award. And I think when I saw this one, I said to some of the committee, I said, oh, this is the painting I've always wanted to paint. Now I don't have to do it. It's just beautifully done. Masterful handling of that soft edge and the hard edge, which in watercolor we really cherish. Color, composition, skillful handling, beautiful portrait, accurately drawn. It's a lovely, lovely piece. John Singer Sargent Award goes to Dean Mitchell. He's a repeat award winner for us in our watercolor world, and his skill can't be denied. I would call a grid format in a way, but look at the importance of the diagonal again. I've pointed this out in a few paintings. Compositionally, it is one of the strongest things you can do, diagonals, and he's got these little diagonals that are repeated subtly against the very strong vertical upright of the pieces. Dean Mitchell's pieces are often known for a very subtle palette. He doesn't do a lot of really bright colors, but beautifully handled. Just in the subtlety there is still the yellows, the greens, the reds, the purples, gray blues, and shape, large building shape against this incredible line work again. Shape and line, two of the strongest elements that we have to work with in our paintings. Santorina Fortune Teller, isn't she wonderful? This is emotional content. Certainly gets an A+ in that, but all the rest is there. It's a James McNeill Whistler Award of Merit, and it goes to Sylvia Arufo. I hope I pronounced her name right. This is just fantastic. This is a character. And beautiful composition, subtle, but look at the strong diagonal. The way the darks come in this way, they work around the figure and they come back out this way, even increased by the arm. So that diagonal, and then look at the strength of this diagonal. That's what's holding the composition of this piece together. And you get right into her face, her character, and all of the details are so beautifully handled. Lost edges, I love to see lost edges, and she's done it beautifully up there. She's lost some of the edges elsewhere in the piece, and yet the detail is there also. I might say something about this piece, Anne Hightower Patterson's. It's a beautiful portrait. Again, emotional content, beautifully done. This show had a lot of portrait entries, and I think that made it tough. It's like every one of the portraits that even got into the show had to be perfect, had to be exquisite, and they have been. They're great. Just not enough awards, and why one over another, it's so difficult, but this is just a beautiful piece, so definitely needs to have had something said. Distinguished Master Frederick Graff. Madge McFarlane Memorial Award to Frederick Graff, and the piece is called Unlocked Memories. So the title can definitely give us a clue into what the artist is thinking, and for me, gives a lot of content and meaning to this, in a way, abstract piece. I mean, how simple. All these little doors that are open. But again, a diagonal is used very efficiently. The darks, if you squint your eyes and just look for the darks, how they come through the piece like this and then picked up again here. So he's not going to bring you off the page. He's going to bring you back in. And all of these angles, and then a couple, look at this one that becomes so important right here to counteract all of this going on. Frederick Graff is a master of color, composition. This shows it all. Here's a fun piece, and again, look at the size of this. This is a large piece. It's hard not to feel that these men are not in your face when you get close to this piece. This is by David R. Becker, and an unusual view of this, what could have been a photograph or a portraiture of this troop, Navy victory in Annapolis. So you really get the feel of the celebration of the moment. But look how he's placed the whole thing on the diagonal. I think if I were working from a photograph, would I think to do that? But what a difference it makes in the dynamics of this piece. This is Mary Jansen's incredible golden yellow. Oh my gosh, I just love the color. It's called The Competition. We see in entries many still lifes that are set up by the artists and painted very beautifully, realistically. But the addition of a bird, which you know was not there, I love that, just that element of the unexpected. The color in this is just amazing. Certainly compositionally, it's just lovely. It's content is fine. Its drawing mechanisms are fine, but between that color and that bird, it got in and got the Marty McManaman Memorial Award. And here's another award winner right next to it, Winslow Homer Award of Merit. Kiko Yasuka, I hope I pronounced that correct. It's called Under the Spotlight, and it does look like it's under the spotlight. Surprisingly, we did not have very many flower entries. I was surprised, but this one is a beauty. Simple composition, but the dramatics of the lights against the darks are amazing. Just gentle sea, I like to call it, as a composition, is very attractive, and just the subtlety under here of a vase. It's a beautiful piece. This is a lovely piece by Chris Krapinski. She sets up these still lifes for herself and just does an incredible job of painting these. This has won her the Maurice Prendergast Award of Merit. It's called Blue and Gold. Compositionally, squint your eyes a bit and look at the darks. Again, a strong diagonal, but look how this dark brings you up, leads you right back around to these blueberries. And if this white corner were not here, there'd be this strong whites through here, but it would be off balance. The addition of this white, and look how she put it in there. The quilt probably did not have that exactly there, but she's smart enough to put it in there with a gentle arrow, bringing you back up into the piece. I love it.
These 11 artists were juried into our exhibition. However, were unable to send us their paintings to show here at Kenosha Public Museum. Their entries are still in the show, they're in the catalog, and their juried in is still going towards their signature status. We want to thank them for entering, and we regret that we were not able to see them in person because they are fabulous. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And I want to tell you, we are wearing our masks. So, thank you very much.